Hello, everybody. Captain Marty here, and it is a follow-up to a really windy day yesterday, so a lot of fishing was at a standstill, but there's still reasons for hope as we go into the weekend. I'll be back to tell you what those reasons are in just a moment, so stay right there, please.
Locally owned and operated since 1971, Billy's Seafood has been providing the locals and visitors of the Outer Banks with some of the freshest seafood you'll find. Not too far off the beaten path down Collington Road in KDH, Billy's Seafood has become a landmark for those seeking top-notch seafood at affordable prices. Billy's Seafood also has beer, wine, grandma's tuna salad, and other groceries as well. To see more, go online to billyseafoodobx.com. Billy's Seafood, putting fresh seafood on your table for over 50 years.
When it comes to general maintenance or major modifications on your diesel vehicle, look no further than Juan Cheese Off-Road Diesel Performance in Kill Devil Hills. Master Mechanic Ryan Walker developed the plan for having his own auto shop over 20 years ago, and today he owns the premium diesel performance powerhouse of the Outer Banks. To have him and his crew take a look under your hood, give him a call today at 252-715-0025 or find him on social media. Juan Cheese Off-Road Diesel Performance, the diesel performance powerhouse of the Outer Banks.
So offshore fishing has been a trial lately. It has not been, we have not had the fall yellowfin bite we were hoping for. Yellowfin tuna. If you're new to our program, that's the gold standard in our tuna catches. Spring and fall, the tuna bites are really what everybody waits for. Not uncommon to catch 600 pounds of tuna in a day, and but that doesn't happen all the time. These are not fish that live off the Outer Banks. They're migratory species. They go all around the Atlantic Ocean, different places. But the yellowfin is the one that averages 40 to 70 pounds, really good to eat. We also have been catching some blackfin tunas. That's the smaller one. They average 20 to 25 pounds, also really good to eat. We did have last week a couple of big eye tuna. They average 100 to 250 pounds, very good to eat. And then as we get into the January fishing for the giant bluefin tuna, we'll have that going on, and they are very good to eat, but most people would say they would be number 4 of the 4 that we just mentioned. However, they're a little more oily, and for that raw market, the sushi market, they're very, very popular, and they're also highly restricted and regulated. So you got to take all that into consideration. While we're on that subject, there was a couple of 600 pounders caught down off Morehead City. One of them was caught close to shore in a fairly small boat, really, and the guy fought the fish for 6.5 hours, and somehow or another, he got it back. I would caution people about pushing your luck in the wintertime on the Outer Banks in the ocean. Omi Tillett had a saying, Captain Omi, he was the father of our modern fleet and very wise, and he had a lot of sayings I really liked. But one of the sayings he had was, all the salty ones are on the bottom, meaning all the people that push their luck a little too much are on the bottom, literally. So that's not the case for everybody. Now, don't get me wrong. It was just a saying to basically say, be cautious, be careful, because don't push your luck. Don't play games with Mother Nature. So that was what he meant by that. He had a lot of great sayings too. Another one of his was, I just can't hoist it all aboard, meaning he was talking about a trawler net full of squid or shrimp or croakers or whatever it might be, so full of fish that they couldn't get it aboard. And Omi would say that because he meant, I just can't understand what's going on here. I can't hoist it all aboard into my brain. So that was Omi. I had the great pleasure of building 2 boats with him back in the day up on the north end of Roanoke Island on Candela Drive. I'll never forget that. Great experience. But anyway, so there's not any fresh report for you for the offshore guys. I'm not sure when the next one will come. But anyway, that's what's out there. Some blackfin tunas, a few bluefins, both north and south of us. And maybe we'll still get a yellowfin tuna bite. And maybe there's still some king mackerel be caught in Hatteras, but things got to settle down a little bit first. All right, so now we move on to surf and pier fishing. A lot of the piers are closing down now. So before you go to any pier, you should call ahead, see if they're open. I don't have anything official, but as of a couple days ago, Avalon Pier and Jeanette's were the only 2 piers left open. But there is something interesting going on in the surf and pier report, and that would be in the surf. Over the last few days, a little bit on the windy side yesterday, but through the week, there's been a really good black drum bite down on Hatteras Island. Basically, the length of Hatteras Island from Oregon Inlet to Hatteras Inlet, a good bite on those smaller sized black drum. Now, you might remember Alan down at Trade Wind Tackle for many, many years said that was one of his favorite fish to eat. So in a small size like that, plentiful fish, fresh, don't turn your nose up at them because it's not a snapper or grouper or something more exotic. But it's what I call a meat and potatoes fish. And by the way, it's really good with meat and potatoes. Anyway, a lot of black drum in the catches, still a few sea mullet around, still a few puppy drum, and even a scattered yearling or big drum as well. But that is pretty much the long and short. There was last week also a few ocean stripers, rockfish caught, and I did not hear anything in the last couple days on those. So that's really what's going on. What we'll do here is we'll take just a little break, and I'll come back to talk to you a little bit about the speckled trout bite back in the Pamlico Sound. So stay right there. Hey y'all, Captain Marty here to tell you that when my friends are in the market for a new boat engine or repair, I send them to the best, and that's at Ratcliffe Marine in Belhaven. Ratcliffe Marine is your official Yamaha outboard dealer. Yamaha motors are designed to get you on the water fast and get you back to the dock whenever you're ready. Ratcliffe Marine is also the largest repower center in North Carolina. So when you're in the market for a new motor or need your Yamaha service, go to Ratcliffe Marine, 865 Highway 264 in Belhaven. It would be easy to say, when we talk about backcountry fishing in the Pamlico Sound, that that's a connoisseur's fishery, because it does, right now, it mostly requires a boat and some experience, it's a little bit of wisdom, a whole lot of knowledge, and a little bit of common sense. I might throw that in there at the end. But all through the summer, the speckled trout bite you could do from many different shorelines, back of Hatteras Island, around Roanoke Island. A lot of places you could go with no waders or anything required and catch a speckled trout or a puppy drum. I think most people would tell you this has been a great year for speckled trout fishing. So those fish also are migratory and they move a lot. And the trend right now is they're moving to the Western Sound, and some of them are getting up in some of the estuaries, I guess, because maybe the water's a little warmer. I'm not really sure about why that is, but there has been a very good speckled trout bite in the Pamlico Sound, and not all of it is on the western side. I did hear some people back of Oregon Inlet. One person caught a 6-pound speckled trout this week. So, we know they're there. Every once in a while, someone will get one even back in the surf around the piers that are closed. So that is really, the last few days, pretty much the only game in town. We were catching some bluefish. That seems to tapered way off. We were catching a few drum in those catches, but it is mostly a speckled trout bite. So get geared up, talk to your local tackle shops, and remember the thing that I learned is that when you go to the spot where you caught them yesterday, the day before, that was so good, and you caught them on a particular bait, let's say a pink grub, a watermelon grub, and then you go back the next day and you go to the same spot, the same tide, the same time of day, and catch nothing, well, you got to change up, because the fish that you fished on the day before may still be there, but it may be a different school of fish. They move around all the time, and they may not want a pink colored watermelon grub. They may want something a little bit different. They may want a different type of lure. So keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to break away from the old standby. We had to do that in the offshore fleet in the years I spent doing that. You'd have some stuff that was really proven and been with you a long time, but I don't know why, but eventually if it kind of slackened up a little bit, you had to go and think outside the box and try something radically different. So don't be afraid to do that. It'll make you a better speckled trout fisherman. And remember, water temperatures in the mid-50s. This is dangerous water temperatures to fall in. So number one, don't go by yourself. Number two, an engine cutoff switch is really, really a good thing to have. Something that you can connect where if you were to fall overboard, it would cut the motor off. A float plan is essential this time of year, meaning you let your significant other know where you're at, exactly when you're going to be back, and then you got to make sure that when you get back that you call immediately when you're safely back on the trailer or wherever you're going to be. And the final thing, the thing that people seem to forget about, is cold weather clothing. And I'm not talking about just to stay warm while you're fishing. I'm talking about if you end up in the water. The Pamlico Sound, keep in mind, can get as rough as the Atlantic Ocean with sharper, steeper seas that build up quicker, especially on a northwester, a hard northwester, a cold front, for instance. So look at some of the stuff that's available now. It's floating jackets that pass as a personal flotation device. They also will give you your body some warmth. You can go from like a wearable life preserver to a Mustang suit, all the way up to a complete survival suit. And let me tell you something, a survival suit in a bag, ready to go, that will keep you alive, that will have a beacon on it. Absolutely one of the greatest Christmas gifts you could ever get somebody this year is less money than a high quality speckled trout rod and reel. If you got, let's say, a custom rod and a decent reel, you're going to spend $300 to $400 on that, and you can get a survival suit for less than that. So it's, the only thing you got to think about, you really need one for each person on board, because it's no good to be two of you and have one survival suit. How do you decide that, So anyway, keep all that in mind. My theme has always been safety, and I want you to be safe, have a great time fishing, and I just hope that you go out there and have something to report back to me so I can share it on the air. And I hope you have a blessed day as well.